Morning guys, I'm Dave Canterbury with the Pathfinder School and Self-Reliance Outfitters. What I want to do this morning is I want to show you a real simple do-it-yourself project on how to make a simple, packable, and durable reflector oven. I found the plans for this in a book called The Junior Book of Camping and Woodcraft by Bernard Mason. This book was written in the late 30s. This is an old library book and it's marked discarded on the library book right here on the inside from the YMCA, it looks like, in Ware, Massachusetts. But anyway, in the back of the book here on page 101, it shows plans for making a reflector oven from cookie sheets. And that's what I'm going to show you today. And what we're going to build is this. So reflector ovens have been used for a long period of time for cooking food in camping situations. They're talked about in most of the old school books by Horace Kephart, Warren Miller, Bernard Mason, and things like that. But this is the first time I've ever seen a plan on how to make one basically on the cheap. If you go look for one today, about the cheapest one you can find that's actually made out of pretty thin material compared to this is about $70. The way this thing works, or the pretense of the reflector oven, is exactly that. It reflects the heat from the fire from this surface and this surface onto this surface and above to cook whatever's in here. So you can put another pan in here, or you could put aluminum foil in here, or you could cook directly on the surface depending on how you want to operate this oven. But the way it works is it is 5 cookie sheets. And these are pretty heavy stainless steel cookie sheets that I bought off Amazon for, I think they were $4.20 a piece, something like that. And then I bought 10 small wing nuts with screw bolts that are both Allen and regular slotted to make it real easy. And I put wing nuts on there to make it easy to take apart and put together. I bought 10 of them. You only need 8 for this project. So you need 8 of those bolts. These are about 1.25 inches long, something like that. Maybe an inch long, actually. About 1 inch long bolt and a wing nut. So I got 10 of those, 2 extras, 5 cookie sheets. Then all I did was take a drill and a drill bit and drilled my holes to put this together. And it's very simple. You've got 3 of them fanned out here between 2 basically. And they nest together in the back right here to form a seal because they all sit inside of each other. So the beauty of this thing is that when you're done, you've taken it apart, you're going to be down to this. This is what you're going to need to carry, and then your wing nuts and bolts. You can make yourself a bag for that very easily, or slip that thing down in the back of a backpack or pack basket or whatever. Now I've marked these for which part of the oven they are just to make it easier to assemble. Like this one says bottom and this is the back. So I know where this goes when I put it together. But when you drill this thing together, I really just kind of eyeballed everything together. But as you place it together, you'll see where your drill holes need to be. This is my left side, and this is my right side. And I've got an extra hole drilled in this because I eyeballed it. These are drilled too close to the end. You got to drill in just a little ways here and here. And this one here is my right side, and this one is my left side. So I can look at that and line those holes up and know that that's where that belongs. And then I just proceed to find my center. That's my bottom. That's my center. So I find my center and I bolt the center in first. And I just take and bolt it in from the side so that my screws, my wing nuts, actually go in on the outside, which makes them real easy to put together. And this is not something that you're not going to take this thing up and down in a bunch of hurried up motions. It doesn't matter that it takes 5 minutes to put it together, because once you get to a base camp scenario, you're going to sit there and use this thing over and over again. It's not something you're going to want to take down and put together every time you're done cooking with it. You just leave it sitting beside the fire. And I put the screws together fairly loose in the beginning because I'll tighten everything up in the end. So you can see it's a little floppy right now because it's loose. And I'm doing that just to make it easier to assemble as I go. But it's actually pretty simple. And once you tighten it all up, it becomes very rigid. So that basically becomes the center, and you can see if you leave it loose, it'll allow it to stand up good and straight for you, and you can tighten it up when you get the other pieces in. So then I'm going to look for there's my bottom, this is my top. So my top goes in and it sets right inside this other pan and slides down into two holes here. So I've got a hole in the center here and here. I can just drop that in, throw the wing nut in it loose for the moment. Do the same thing on the other side. And these pans are going in the upward direction so that they will nest inside themselves in the end here. And this is where your rigidity is going to begin as you start to assemble this together. Now, I'm going to push this down and nest it inside this pan. Tighten those wing nuts there up tight, just like that. I'm still leaving the center portion fairly loose. I can go ahead and tighten them up a little bit so they're not completely loose right now. And then all I have to do is put the bottom in, and it's as simple as turning the thing over. And I've got this thing marked bottom back here. Get your wing nut on there. Last one here. Now this is where leaving that center a little bit loose comes in handy, because it gives you a little bit of play to get these holes lined up just exactly where you want them. But it's not very much of a hassle at all once it's fairly tight either. My fingers are too fat for these little bolts, I think. Okay, so now we're going to come back here and make sure that all of these are nested down tight in the back, just like this. Then we're just going to come through here and tighten stuff up. Get all these good and rigid, just like that. And our reflector oven is ready to use. Okay, so this is a real simple system. It's very cost effective and common man. It costs 1/3 the cost of a commercial one. And to be honest with you, I own 2 commercial ones, and this one is much, much more heavy duty than either one of the commercial ones that I own. And it pretty much folds just as flat or close to it. And there's not a whole lot more weight to it, to be honest with you. Again, these are just stainless steel, heavy duty baking pans. It took me probably less than 10 minutes to make this off the drawing, and that was just eyeballing things together. And it's a very, very good system. What we'll do is we'll, in the next video or so, we'll get some Just Add Water baking mix. You can buy that stuff for $1 a bag at any dollar store to make different types of muffins and biscuits. And we'll throw this thing in front of a fire and we'll cook some biscuits in it, and I'll show you how well it works. But I wanted to get this video out to you, showing you how to put it together and how to build it. You can see the bolt pattern's very simple here. So you got 4 on this side, 4 on that side. Again, I've got a couple extra holes in here that I drilled, not thinking that my wing nuts were going to need to turn, and I had them too close to the edge. So I've got a couple extra holes in mine. You really only need the 4 on each side. Everything butts and nests together in the back, and in the front you have a perfect reflector oven. Okay guys, well, I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining me today for this quick do-it-yourself build from Bernard Mason's book on junior camping and woodcraft from the late 1930s on how to build a do-it-yourself reflector oven. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your views. I thank you for everything you do for our school, for our family, and for our business, for all of our sponsors, instructors, affiliates, and friends. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.